You've been told to chase pleasure. Everywhere you look, screens, ads, people, they all tell you the same thing. Indulge, relax, you deserve it. But what if I told you that pleasure has become your biggest prison? That every time you give in to your urges, you're trading away something sacred, your power, your focus, your edge. Semen retention isn't just about holding back your sexual energy. It's about learning how to control yourself when the world tells you to lose control. It's about standing still in a storm of temptation and realizing that calm is stronger than chaos. This is where Stoicism enters the picture. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That line alone can define your entire journey, because semen retention at its core is about mastering the only thing that truly belongs to you, your mind. We live in an age where attention is currency. Every company, every app, every video, they fight to hijack your focus. And when they can't capture your attention, they go after your biology. They weaponize your desires. They know your urges are powerful. And if they can control your desires, they can control you. But here's the truth. You can't be a stoic man if you're a slave to pleasure. You can't claim discipline when your impulses make your decisions for you. You can't talk about self-mastery if you can't even go a week without releasing your energy for a few seconds of dopamine. This isn't shame. This is a wake-up call. Because inside you there is a strength that's been asleep, waiting to be awakened through discipline. And semen retention is the path to that awakening. When you retain, something changes. You start noticing your mind is sharper. You start feeling emotions more deeply, not in a weak way, but with clarity. Your body feels more alive, your energy more grounded, your purpose more real. It's as if the fog that's been covering your vision finally begins to lift. You realize how much energy you were wasting chasing pleasure. Hours, days, even years gone. And for what? Moments of pleasure that left you emptier every time. But when you hold that energy, something powerful happens. It's like pressure building inside a volcano. You start walking differently, talking differently. You start to see yourself differently. Because you're not scattering your life force anymore. You're channeling it. Stoicism teaches us to control what we can and accept what we can't. Your urges, your emotions, they're not your enemies. They're forces. And forces can be harnessed. You don't fight your energy when you direct it. That's where most men get it wrong. They think retention means suppression. No, it means transmutation. It means turning that raw energy into something useful. Strength, focus, drive, presence. Think of it this way. The same energy that creates life can create greatness. It can build empires, write books, carve muscles, master crafts. When you hold that energy, you are holding creation itself. And every time you waste it, you are giving away the chance to build something extraordinary. Now, let's go deeper. Why does semen retention actually change your life? Because your energy is tied to your hormones, testosterone, dopamine, serotonin. When you retain, these systems begin to rebalance. Your body recognizes that something sacred is being preserved, and in return it rewards you. Your voice deepens. Your eyes sharpen. Your posture straightens. Your presence becomes magnetic. You stop chasing because now you attract. That's the essence of Stoicism. Not running after pleasure, but standing firm in virtue. A Stoic doesn't seek happiness in pleasure. He finds peace in control. And when you live with control, life bends around you. But the challenge is real. The modern world doesn't want you disciplined. It wants you distracted. Because a man who controls his urges is dangerous. Not in a violent way, but in a focused way. He's hard to manipulate. He's unpredictable. He's powerful. Most men never feel that kind of power, because they give it away every night to pixels on a screen. They let fantasy consume their reality, and slowly their drive fades. Their courage fades. Their light fades. Stoicism reminds you that control is freedom. Freedom from addiction, freedom from weakness, freedom from the need for validation. And semen retention is the practice that brings that Stoic philosophy into your body, not just your mind. When you wake up and your body burns with desire, that's your training ground. That's your test. Every urge is a call to battle, a call to rise above comfort. You either fall back into pleasure or rise into purpose. Every choice builds or breaks your character. Discipline isn't punishment. It's self-respect. It's the way you tell yourself, I am worth more than this momentary pleasure. And the more you say no to your urges, the more powerful your yes becomes. Yes to your mission, yes to your growth, yes to your destiny. But here's the thing most people won't tell you. Retention isn't easy. It's not supposed to be. Because anything that changes your life will demand something from you. It will demand patience. It will demand struggle. It will demand mastery. You'll feel restless. You'll feel frustrated. You'll feel like quitting. But every time you hold that energy, every time you stay firm, you're carving strength into your spirit. That's what Stoicism is, staying calm in chaos, remaining unmoved by temptation, choosing virtue over vice. Over time, something incredible happens. You start to realize that the urges don't control you anymore. You watch them come and go like waves, and you remain still. That stillness is freedom. You'll start noticing that people look at you differently, not because you're trying to prove anything but because energy can't be hidden. There's a quiet power that begins to radiate from you. It's not arrogance. It's presence. It's peace. You start walking into rooms with calm confidence. You start speaking slower, listening deeper. You stop reacting to small things because you're too focused on the bigger picture. This is what semen retention gives you, a deep awareness of who you are and what you're capable of. You stop chasing women, and women start noticing you. You stop begging for opportunities, and opportunities start finding you. You stop being desperate, and you start becoming desirable. Why? Because energy doesn't lie. When you hold your life force, the world feels it. That's Stoicism in action. Silent strength. You don't talk about your discipline. You embody it. You don't boast about your control. You live it. You don't seek admiration. It comes naturally because the world respects those who respect themselves. And that's what semen retention truly is, the ultimate form of self-respect. You see, when you live by Stoic discipline, you stop being ruled by your emotions. Most men today are tossed around by every feeling that enters their body: lust, anger, boredom, anxiety. But a Stoic doesn't chase or flee from emotions. He observes them. He studies them. He turns them into strength. That's exactly what happens when you practice semen retention. Every urge becomes a teacher. Every temptation becomes a mirror. It shows you who you are when no one's watching. It exposes the parts of you that still crave comfort over growth. And that's where transformation begins, in those quiet, uncomfortable moments when you choose discipline over desire. Semen retention is not about suppression. It's about mastery. Suppression creates tension. Mastery creates direction. You don't bury your desire, you channel it. You turn lust into action, attraction into ambition, temptation into transformation. Think of that energy like fire. If you leave it uncontrolled, it burns everything. But if you contain it, you can cook, forge, and build with it. Your sexual energy is the same. When you control it, it becomes your fuel. It becomes the force that drives your mission, sharpens your focus, and hardens your resolve. The Stoics knew this even centuries ago. They didn't talk about semen retention in those words, but they practiced the same principle: self-control as a path to freedom. Epictetus taught that no man is free who is not master of himself. And Marcus Aurelius wrote that the happiness of your life depends on the quality of your thoughts. When you retain, your thoughts start to shift. You begin to think clearly. Your decisions become deliberate. You stop being reactive and start being intentional. The fog of lust and distraction starts to clear. You see, when you constantly give in to pleasure, you are programming your brain to seek the easiest reward. That's why you procrastinate. That's why you struggle to focus. That's why you can't sit in silence without needing stimulation. You've trained your mind to crave instant dopamine, but semen retention rewires that system. It teaches your brain to wait, to endure, to pursue long-term satisfaction. It replaces impulse with patience. And patience in a world of instant gratification is power. That's why men who retain begin to feel different. Not just physically, but mentally. They can handle boredom. They can delay pleasure. They can sit still in their own presence and feel complete. That's Stoicism in its purest form. Contentment with self. But here's the deeper truth. Semen retention is not only about you. It's about who you become for the world. When you master your energy, you start showing up differently. For your family, your mission, your relationships, you become the kind of man others can rely on. You radiate stability in a chaotic world. You stop being tossed by waves. You become the rock others can anchor to. And that's what masculinity truly is. Not dominance, not control over others, but control over yourself. It's the strength to stand tall when everything around you tries to break your discipline. It's the calm in your eyes when others panic. It's the silence that speaks louder than words. Semen retention is the physical practice of Stoic virtue. It teaches you temperance and moderation in pleasure. It gives you courage to resist the easy path. It gives you wisdom to understand your urges, not obey them. And it gives you justice, not to live in alignment with your highest self, not your lowest impulses. When you master these virtues, your whole life begins to align. Your work improves. Your focus sharpens. Your words carry more weight. People start noticing your presence even if they can't explain why. That's because self-mastery leaves an aura. It's the quiet confidence that doesn't need validation. But let's be honest, this path isn't glamorous. There will be days when you feel the fire burning inside you, and all you want to do is release it. There will be moments when your mind whispers, just once won't hurt. But every just once takes something from you. Every relapse weakens your inner resolve just a little more. And that's why you must treat every urge like a test. When it hits, don't run. Sit with it, breathe, observe it without judgment. That's how you strengthen your mind. That's how you transform raw desire into refined discipline. Because here's the secret. The urge will always pass. No matter how strong it feels in the moment, it's temporary. You are not your urges. You are the awareness that watches them. That's what Stoicism teaches. Detachment. Not indifference, but mastery. You don't kill your emotions. You master them. You don't reject your humanity. You elevate it. The more you practice this, the more you start feeling in control of every part of your life. Your thoughts, your habits, your time, your attention. Everything becomes sharper, cleaner, stronger. And then you realize something profound. Semen retention isn't just about sex. It's about energy. It's about who you are when you're not wasting it. It's about focus, ambition, peace. It's about becoming a man of purpose. A man of discipline stands out in today's world. He's rare. He's intimidating to some and inspiring to others. Why? Because he carries something others have lost. Self-command. When you walk through life with that kind of control, you move differently. Your presence says, I don't chase, I attract. And people feel it. They feel your calm. They feel your conviction. They feel your quiet fire. That's when you start realizing that semen retention and Stoicism are not two separate paths. They're one and the same. Both demand strength. Both demand awareness. Both demand sacrifice. And both lead to the same result. Peace. Because when you no longer need to run from your urges, you finally experience freedom. You're no longer a prisoner to your biology. You're the commander of it. The moment that happens, your life begins to shift. You stop making excuses. You stop running from discomfort. You stop letting emotion dictate your direction. You start living with clarity. Semen retention teaches you that your greatest power doesn't come from doing more. It comes from withholding. The more you control, the more you grow. And that's a lesson that applies to everything. Your words, your temper, your time, your attention. You learn to speak less and say more. To feel anger but not act on it. To want things but not be owned by them. That's the essence of Stoicism. And semen retention is the forge where that essence is made real. When you begin this journey, it's not the world that changes first, and it's you. The air doesn't suddenly glow with energy. The people around you don't instantly bow in respect. But you begin to see differently. Your mind sharpens. Your focus returns. The constant noise that once hijacked your thoughts, lust, scrolling, instant gratification, starts to fade. That's when you realize how much of your energy you've been giving away. Not just physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. You were scattering yourself everywhere. You were letting your fire burn in 1,000 directions, never strong enough to create light in one. Now through discipline, through restraint, through the Stoic practice of self-control, you begin to contain the flame. And when you contain the flame, something miraculous happens. It grows hotter. It becomes clearer. It becomes you. You see, semen retention isn't about suppression. It's not about pretending that desire doesn't exist. It's about mastery. It's about saying, I will not be ruled by my urges. I will rule them. This is the heart of Stoicism. Not to run away from emotion, not to destroy it, but to transform it into strength. Marcus Aurelius wrote, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you retain, you're training that power every single day. Every temptation resisted is a rep for your willpower. Every time you feel that fire rising and you choose stillness instead, you sharpen your inner sword. You're not denying your nature. You're refining it. You're taking that raw, chaotic energy and forging it into calm, unstoppable drive. Let's talk psychology for a moment. When you retain, your dopamine levels begin to stabilize. You're no longer hijacked by the roller coaster of stimulation and crash. Your brain stops craving constant novelty and starts craving progress. That's why so many men on this path suddenly find themselves more focused, more creative, more productive. It's not magic, it's neurochemistry. It's your mind learning that satisfaction doesn't come from release. It comes from creation. You're literally rewiring your brain from consumer to creator. Now let's go deeper. Emotionally. When you practice retention, you begin to reconnect with your emotions, but in a grounded, masculine way. You stop running from discomfort. You face it. You stop chasing validation. You earn it. You stop needing others to make you feel alive. You become life itself. You start to radiate something rare. Presence. A still calm power that doesn't need to shout. People feel it when you walk into a room. They can't explain it, but they know this man is different. He's centered. He's not lost in chaos. This is magnetism. It's not about charm. It's about energy coherence. When your body, mind, and purpose are aligned. When a man retains, he's not leaking energy through guilt, distraction, or weakness. He's conserving it. And that conservation becomes attraction to opportunities, to respect, even to women. Because women feel energy. They don't need words to sense whether a man is powerful or lost. They can feel the fire behind your calm eyes. They can feel your self-control, your discipline, your mission. It's instinctual. It's primal. And that's why this path, when walked with humility, transforms your relationships too. You no longer see women as objects of desire. You see them as mirrors or reflecting your own energy back at you. You stop chasing and they start noticing. Because now you're radiating something far deeper than lust. You're radiating purpose, and purpose is the most attractive force in existence. The Stoic mindset in modern life. Now let's connect this to Stoic philosophy directly. Stoicism teaches you to detach from the things you can't control, and Semen Retention teaches you to control the one thing most men can't: their impulses. In a world of excess, of digital stimulation, of endless distraction, restraint is rebellion, and rebellion builds character. When you wake up each morning and resist the easy path, you reclaim your self-respect. You look in the mirror and see a man who's no longer enslaved by urges. That look, that silent confidence, is worth more than any pleasure you've ever known. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Retention is your training ground for freedom. Every urge becomes an opportunity to practice composure. Every wave of temptation becomes a test of presence. And every victory, however small, becomes a deposit into your inner strength. That's Stoicism in action. Not words in a book, but discipline lived in real time. And over time, you start to see the world differently. You realize how many people are enslaved by pleasure, and you start walking the path of meaning instead. You start to crave silence more than noise. You start to prefer solitude over shallow company. Because your energy has weight now. It's sacred. You no longer waste it on things that don't serve your highest self. Once you've learned to hold your energy, the next step is to use it. Because energy, by its nature, demands expression. If you simply store it, you'll feel restless, anxious, even frustrated. That's not failure. That's raw power looking for a purpose. Semen retention isn't about locking away your energy. It's about transmuting it, turning primal desire into creative force, turning temptation into drive, turning lust into legacy. When that energy rises, you channel it, you build, you train, you write, you lead, you meditate, you act. That's how great men throughout history use this same principle, often unknowingly. They didn't call it NoFap, they called it discipline. They called it virtue. They called it focus. Leonardo da Vinci, Nikola Tesla, Isaac Newton. They all spoke of preserving sexual energy for higher creation. Not as superstition, but as science. Because that energy is your vital essence, your inner life force. When directed consciously, it becomes innovation, vision, and spiritual power. Every man has this potential. But few awaken it because most are too addicted to comfort. Here's the truth. When you retain, the energy doesn't just sit in your body. It starts to climb. Through your nervous system, through your thoughts, through your spirit. You start to feel more alive. Your voice gets deeper. Your posture straightens. Your eyes sharpen. Your words carry weight. That's not imagination. That's transformation. You begin to embody presence. People feel it without you saying a word. You walk slower, speak less, but mean more. Because now, your life force is no longer leaking through empty pleasure. It's radiating through purpose. Applying the power, the 4 pillars of channeling energy. If you want this power to build your life instead of consuming you, you must learn to channel it through 4 pillars. Discipline of the body. Train your body daily. Not to look good, but to feel strong. Lift weights, run, stretch, breathe deeply. Physical movement grounds the energy and keeps your mind clear. Every drop of sweat becomes proof that you're turning restraint into action. Focus of the mind. Read, meditate, study. Direct your attention like a laser. Most men scatter their focus across endless distractions, but when you retain, your mind becomes sharper. Use that clarity to build skills, learn deeply, and master your craft. Calmness of the spirit. Practice solitude. Journal. Reflect. Sit in silence without fear of your thoughts. Stoicism isn't about being emotionless. It's about being unshakable. When chaos rises, breathe. Remember, emotions are waves, you are the ocean. Direction of purpose. Without purpose, your energy will turn against you. You'll feel tension, frustration, even aggression. But once you find a mission, something meaningful to build, protect, or pursue, your energy flows naturally. Purpose is the dam that turns chaos into current. Ask yourself, what do I want my strength to serve? Because retention without direction leads to stagnation, but retention with purpose leads to greatness. Modern Stoicism, living above the noise. We live in a world that sells weakness as normal, that glorifies indulgence and mocks restraint. A world that tells men to release their power daily, both physically and mentally, and then wonders why they're tired, anxious, and unfulfilled. But you're choosing a different path. You're choosing to walk through fire while others hide in comfort. You're choosing mastery over chaos. That's Stoicism. That's manhood. That's freedom. You're not rejecting pleasure. You're rejecting slavery to it. You're not suppressing desire. You're owning it. And when you own it, life bends in your favor. Every moment you hold your energy, your subconscious learns something vital. I am in control. And when you truly believe that, you become unstoppable. The Stoics taught that virtue is its own reward. In the same way, the man who retains doesn't do it to impress others or to gain instant benefits. He does it because it aligns with who he's becoming, a man of discipline, focus, and inner power. And ironically, that's when the benefits come. Not because you chase them, but because you embody them. Leadership, love, and legacy. Let's talk about how this new energy changes everything around you. When you master your energy, people trust you more because they can feel your stability. You don't react impulsively. You respond with clarity. That's leadership, the ability to stay calm when others panic. In relationships, retention teaches you patience and presence. You stop seeking constant validation. You start giving attention instead of craving it. You stop needing to be desired and become desirable through strength. Love at its highest form is not desire. It's respect. And no one respects a man who can't control himself. But everyone respects the man who moves with silent strength. You become the anchor in a stormy world, the steady voice when others lose themselves. And that steadiness and that calm, directed energy is magnetic. You stop chasing love, success, peace, and they start finding you. Because now you're aligned with the flow of life, not resisting or escaping it. This is what retention truly gives you: alignment. You start living in harmony with your biology, your psychology, and your spirit. You become what the Stoics called a man in accordance with nature. Call to growth, the path of the modern Stoic. So here's the truth, my friend. This path is not easy. You will fall, you will fail, you will relapse, but each time you rise again, you'll rise stronger. Because every setback is a lesson. Every temptation resisted is a step toward freedom. Every silent night of struggle builds the man that the world will one day see as unbreakable. The Stoics didn't chase perfection. They practiced persistence. That's what makes them immortal. Not their victories, but their endurance. You don't need to be flawless. You just need to be faithful. Faithful to your mission, your discipline, and your potential. Remember this. The man who can master his own desires can master his destiny. Semen retention is not just about holding seed. It's about holding self-respect. And self-respect is the root of power. So stay strong. Walk with quiet confidence. Let your energy speak louder than your words. Let your discipline shine brighter than your desires. Let your purpose guide you when everything else tempts you to quit. Because one day when you look back on your life, you'll realize that this choice, this single act of restraint, became the foundation of your greatness. Summary in the end, semen retention is not a rule, it's a revelation. It's the discovery that you are not a slave to your urges but the master of your mind. It's the practice of channeling chaos into creation, lust into love, energy into evolution. This is what the Stoics meant by virtue, the art of living with strength, balance, and purpose. You don't escape the world. You rise above it. You don't reject pleasure. You refine it. You don't lose anything. You become everything, so hold your energy. Not in fear, but in reverence. Because within that energy lies your future, your power, your peace, and the man you were always meant to become.